If you're watching this, this is your sign to create a YouTube channel. This is your sign to create a podcast. This is your sign to create that business, to grow, to move, and to do that because you are a child of God. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my creative journey. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it. So let's get into it. Welcome to Vlogmas. I am going to be doing this video and talking to you guys about my creative journey. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it and kind of just share my heart with everything. I feel like it's a really good conversation. So shout out to my friend David. He actually inspired me to do this video when he asked me. He literally asked me a few months ago. I think like a few months ago. Yeah, he asked me a few months ago. He basically asked me what my creative journey was. And then I just remember I wrote him like this whole like outline of everything. So I kind of wanted to get into it. So I felt like I've been doing YouTube for 12 years. So I feel this is the perfect time to talk about it. So my whole creative journey basically started when I was in 10th grade. I actually joined TV production and I joined it, and honestly, my dad told me he basically told me, he's like, oh, Abigail, you should join TV production and see if you like it. And basically I told him, I was like, okay, I'll try and see if I like it. But basically he told me to join TV production, and I was like, okay, like let me try and see if I actually like it. And I joined TV production in 10th grade. I was very insecure because I honestly felt like a lot of people were better than me. I broke tapes. It took me like 3 to 4 weeks to even edit a single video. And what ended up happening is I ended up falling in love with the whole process. I ended up falling in love with production. I ended up falling in love with everything. I basically joined TV production in 10th grade. I wasn't the best at it. I was like, okay, you know, am I really good at this? Do I really like it? And what ended up happening is in 11th grade, I ended up falling in love with it. I ended up falling in love with TV production. I ended up falling in love with editing. I ended up falling in love with filming. I ended up falling in love with everything media related. And the craziest part is that I actually got a word from my first mentor, and they prophesied to me, which basically means that they spoke a word that God spoke to them about to me. And they basically said that I was going to make an impact in the media. And years later, here we are, which is so crazy. So I got that word from the media. I joined the TV production team. I wasn't good at it at all. 11th grade, I fell in love with it. 12th grade, I was like this whole TV nerd or like whatever. I really loved it. And then in college, so I started college in Miami-Dade, and I remember looking online, and I remember wondering questions of how do I get over discouragement, or how do I get over depression, or what to do when you don't hear God, or how do I hear the voice of God, like things that I would learn at my church, King Jesus Ministry, like my first church, King Jesus Ministry, that I would learn all that stuff. And I remember searching it up, and I remember searching up those questions, and there was no videos. There were no videos like with Christian content creators, and I didn't even know what a Christian content creator was at that moment. But all I heard God tell me, and he was basically like, Abigail, he basically told me, he's like, Abigail's okay, big he basically told me, he's like, Abigail, start this channel and he basically told me these words. He's like, bring Jesus to the internet. And I remember telling God, okay, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So I literally grabbed my mom's camera, stacked it on top of 10 books, and my mom's MacBook computer, I remember putting it and filming like these really, really cringy videos. And but I really wanted to, that's when the saturation era, you know, lifestyle girlies, the tags were a thing, and I just made it my own. You know, I honestly started with iMovie and editing off of that, and then I moved along to, all through college, I just started doing Jesus videos and everything, and then it got to a point where I would go to church and I would bring my computer with me. No, I wouldn't bring my computer. I would go to church, I would bring my camera with me. Like, it was this, not this insecurity. I guess it was this insecurity, but I remember being known as like that YouTube girl, or this person, like, oh, she does YouTube, this and this. So I would bring my camera with me, not vlog, but I would have it as like a safety net, you know, being like, oh, YouTube was part of my identity. And then I remember like 4 years later, I was still doing YouTube. I got into vlogging because I honestly got into vlogging because I wanted to document my life. I wanted to be able to just talk to you guys and talk to you guys about my life, about things I've gone through, and show you guys things that I've gone when I went to. So when I was feeling that at church, I felt very insecure, so I took a long YouTube break. I remember that. I took a break, and then I remember vlogging all through college. And then being this person, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have multiple businesses and God's gonna speak to me. And I remember being like so business oriented. And this was all before businesses became cool and people were like, oh, you're a business owner? Like, it's a hype. No, it was my life. Because basically I remember I was at church. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. But I remember I was in church in 2017. And I remember hearing Apostle, like our spiritual father at that time, and he prophesied, and he goes, I'm speaking to the young people, that the young people will have businesses. And there's a verse, Habakkuk 2:2, which says in the Bible, write the vision and run with it. And I remember him saying that, and I grabbed my phone and I wrote down like 9 things. I wrote down like my podcast, I wrote down my films, which is my photography business. I wrote down Purity Movement, which was clothing line. I remember writing down like my YouTube and like little things, right? I wrote down that things I was believing for. And I just remember 2018, 2019, I was like in a hunt to like do my business and do everything. I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna do my creative journey, this and this. And I was in college, all through college, and I was doing it. I was doing YouTube, I was doing business, I was grinding, I was hustling, I was doing everything. And then 2018, I graduated college. 2019, I only did YouTube, but I didn't know my videos were cringy until then. Like, now I look back, I'm like, oh God, okay. 2019, I continued doing YouTube, and then that's when I started one of my first jobs, my first like corporate jobs at King Jesus, where you guys know I worked in the media for years, and that's where I learned how to use Adobe Premiere. And before, I used to use Final Cut, and then I started with iMovie. When I got into college, I started using Final Cut because I could afford $300, you know. And then after that, I got into college, graduated college, and then went to church and worked in the church and basically learned how to use Adobe Premiere. So that's when I started creating content and learning how to color grade, learning about audio, learning about coloring and everything, and, you know, basically putting text on my video or having it in a specific place, or, you know, I learned about different things in different ways. And I'm so grateful for my bosses, my former bosses, like, which was Alejo and Pau. And they taught me so much about, and Melissa, like, they taught me so much about editing and so much about media. And I learned so much about myself in those moments where I learned a bunch of things about production, even Freysa. Like, I remember learning a bunch of things about production that I had no idea about, right? So my creative brain just opened. It just opened with the resources, and I was like, okay, like, that's how you use music, or that's how you put audio, or that's how you edit audio, or that's how you put coloring on your videos. Oh, you use this preset, or you use that. And it's just a lot of things, a lot of information went to me. And I remember when I started working in production, I got burnt out. You know, I think it wasn't just because of work-wise, but I think I got burnt out creatively, because I would imagine I would go to work, be creative, and then I would go home, be creative. So I was literally sitting in front of a screen for pretty much 10 to 12 hours every single day. And that kind of takes a toll on you. And I wanted to start my business and my podcast, and I started all of that, but then it got to a point where I was feeling not good enough, if that makes sense. And I know people will relate to this. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like maybe I wasn't the best editor, the best videographer, the best photographer, and I felt very insecure about my creative journey. I was like, there's so many people that know more than I do. And I just remember taking another break. I took an 8-9 month break off of YouTube, and I stopped doing YouTube. I stopped doing my business. I stopped podcasting. I just basically worked and focused on other things in that season. And then 2022 was the year where I decided to kind of get back on track, because for me 2019 was like my high. That was 2018 was my high. That was like my girl boss. I'm girl bossing. I'm doing this. I'm vlogging. I'm promoting my business. And then 2020, 21, 22, I stopped doing it, and I lost that creative passion inside of me to create, because I love creating and I love all that stuff, you know. And then yeah, I just didn't feel I was good enough. And then after that, 2022, I started creating again. And that was the moment where I decided to give YouTube a real chance again. And I said, okay, I'm going to start creating content again. I'm going to start doing my business. So I started putting myself out there again and doing everything. And then what ended up happening is that I felt from God to move to LA, where I am right now, actually in the OC, but I'm in LA. I felt from God to move, and then after that, everything was just so good, if that makes sense. I was focusing on that. I was vlogging for that. I was doing everything for that. And then I moved on. You know, I moved to LA, and I started vlogging my process here. I basically had no job for 6 months, and I was vlogging everything, and I was documenting everything, like finding myself. I was basically finding myself in these past 8-9 months right now. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, like 8 or 9 months ago, I was just finding myself and finding who I am, you know, outside of ministry, outside of this place, and outside of the workplace, and finding who Abigail was again. And then I found my love for creating again. I felt my love for vlogging again. I felt my love for taking photos today. Like even today, I had a photo shoot, and I basically shot with this company, and it was just such a surreal experience to even be able to shoot again, to be able to be used to do it. So yeah, I think one thing I didn't mention was it was because I started YouTube in 2014. So around 2017, 2018, when I took a break, I'm not gonna like out myself, but I don't know. For me, I'm not saying YouTube is my ministry. That's not my heart whatsoever. But what I'm saying is that YouTube is such a big part of what ministry can be when you're thinking of like ministry outside the four walls of church. So for me, like, for example, in my head, if I'm in sin, I'm not going to pray for you. Like, if I'm in sin, I'm not going to be preaching on the altar. If I'm in sin, I'm not going to be doing certain things. However, in those years, I just had a lot of, how do I explain it? I have it here in the messages. So basically in those years during college, I stopped vlogging because I felt like I wasn't the perfect Christian. I felt like maybe I was in sin, maybe I wasn't in sin, but you know, we all sin. It says in the Bible, we all fall short of the glory of God, but I wasn't in the mood to pray for people or to put Christian content over, oh, that's why. So I didn't put Christian content, and I didn't take a break, but I started vlogging. I started vlogging and traveling, and I started going around and doing things and finding myself in different ways, if that made sense. So yeah, so then I started vlogging, I started doing all of that. I grew a lot on YouTube over the past 12 years. It has been such a surreal experience. It has honestly been one of the most treasured moments that I've had, to be able to film and to be able to vlog and to be able to talk to you guys about my creative journey. And now I'm at a place where I'm 29 years old. Like, I'm 29 and I started YouTube when I was 17, 18 years old, which is so crazy that I've been on here for that long. But yeah, so I feel like YouTube has been a big part of my identity, and I feel like now I know who I am as Abigail and I know who I am as Abby, and not this YouTuber, because I would make it my whole identity, be like, hey guys, I'm Abby. You know, I would have to turn it on every time I would turn on the camera, and I would have to be this perfect person. And I remember I wasn't this perfect person. I remember I was a normal human with normal thoughts. So then when I started vlogging, I realized that I could authentically be myself, hence why most of my videos are me crying, or most of these videos are me being emotional. Like, that is just me expressing myself, and that's my creative journey. I honestly feel like I've grown so much. I let go of YouTube as part of my identity, because my identity is as a daughter of God, and as a faith-based Christian content creator, I feel like I've not limited myself just to Christian content. I have broadened it out to like lifestyle and Jesus, and bringing Jesus to the internet, but also inspirational and advice videos, vlogs. So I feel like I've been like multi-racial, I basically, I had different things, different areas to tag if I wanted to. So I love YouTube, and my main goal is honestly to bring Jesus to the internet. Honestly, since 2012, that has always been my mission, my vision. And right now I'm all about finding who I am as a daughter of God, as a child of God. And that's the reason why I haven't changed my, hey, my beautiful YouTube family, Abby here. And I want to tell you that you, my friend, are a child of God, because you guys are children of God. And I feel like that is such a huge declaration. Like, you guys are declaring that you guys are children of God. You are heirs and priests of God. And as a daughter of God, you get authority. You get things that God gives you in heaven. You know, you are so special. You're so blessed. So yeah, that is basically my creative journey. I'm so grateful to do YouTube for so many years, and to be able to be used by God, to be able to have this as, like, let's say a ministry, you know, because like I said before, I haven't, like, I stopped mentoring. I stopped like giving advice and doing things with people, but that is like part of me. Like, I love giving advice. I love praying for people. I love, you know, helping. And I feel that, you know, I'm not here to be the perfect role model, because that's not what I'm envisioned to do. That I'm like, oh, I'm this perfect person. I'm this perfect content creator, this perfect Christian. No, like, I'm just human. And I feel that I'm so real enough to be able to share you guys what God has spoken to me. So that is my creative journey. I started off in 2012, not knowing who I was. And is that what is that? That looks like a star. That looks like a, look at that. That looks like a shooting star or a plane. So I started off in 2012, not knowing who I was, took a break years later, realized that I'm not the perfect Christian, had to switch my content to vlogging, also, but I'll still bring Jesus to the internet. And then I realized that I don't have to be this cookie cutter perfect person, and then realized that I'm a real person with feelings too. Why I started vlogging everything and showing my emotions online. And then moving on forward, I started doing my business and doing everything now. So here I am. I'm not a perfect person. I'm only human. So that is my creative journey. I love all things creativity. I love being a creative. I love that I'm able to do what I do and be able to film and show you guys my life and show you guys what's going on and talk to you guys all about it, because I feel like I need light. I feel like that's what I need. This is a little cringe. It's a little cringe, but you know, we do what we can with what we have, right? Okay, so I feel like that is my creative journey. That is what I'm passionate about. I love YouTube. I love you guys. I'm not leaving anytime soon. This is not a goodbye video. This is definitely just a creative journey because I feel like I wanted to talk to you guys about it, and because David talked to me about it, it really ministered to me, and I realized that I've had such a creative journey, and I feel like this video will help a lot of creatives that feel stuck, that feel that they can't do it, and that, I don't know. I think my biggest advice to someone that wants to start a YouTube channel or wants to be a creative is just start. I feel like some people are just very hard on themselves where they're saying, oh, I need the perfect lighting, I need this. No, like you can literally put your phone in front of a window and film. You can literally use your phone. I literally use my phone for vlogs because I should stop because I have a good camera, but I use it for vlogs, I use that, but I feel like we limit ourselves to so many things. You know, oh, I don't know how to edit. There's CapCut, there's iMovie for free. Like, we're not supposed to be this perfect human. We're just supposed to be ourselves. And I feel like people will be attracted to your most authentic. I feel like people are looking for real. And I feel like people will be attracted to your most authentic self. So if my advice for you is just to start. And if you need any more creative advice, or if you need anything at all, if you want to start a business, a YouTube channel, whatever it is, please text me, please DM me, please comment below in this video, and I will be sure to DM you back because I am so passionate about this and just helping creatives grow and helping people grow. I think that is such a beautiful thing. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. I just wanted to talk. Honestly, I just wanted to talk about my creative journey and to really share with you guys my heart. And this video has been in my heart for a long time. Trust me when I say I've literally had this on my to-do list for a long time. And I was like, when am I gonna film my creative journey? And I feel like I'm in this era where I hear God and I post when he tells me to post, because there's other videos that happen in my mind. I'll say a few of them. It's basically my creative journey, you know, my divorce story, and I feel like my Chick-fil-A story, or like things that I've learned while being here in LA, or how I've changed here in LA, like how LA's changed me in a cool way. So yeah, I feel, or growing up and stuff. So comment down below any other videos that you would like for me to film, but those have been some of them on my heart. I feel like I'm in this era where I hear God and he's like, film this video and post it. So I will film the video and post it, because even my business story, I feel like my business story is very crazy, because the fact that God gave me all my business details without, like, literally, God is the biggest creator. He's the greatest creator when we are just humans, you know, we're nothing compared to God. So the fact that, like, I think the most beautiful thing is like the fact that God can create us, that God created us from heaven and earth, that God created us at the beginning, like, right, God created man in the beginning, and the fact that he blew and he created life. That's so beautiful. Like, and that's why I love creativity, because when you have a vision and you run with it, and you have a vision that you're like, okay, I want to do this shoot. Okay, for this shoot I had today, she told me her vision and I said, okay, this is your vision. Let me run with it. Let me capture your vision. That was what I did today with life, with Purity Movement. This is my vision for Find Yourself merch. And I felt this vision and I ran with it, and it came to life with YouTube. My mission is to bring Jesus to the internet, and now here we are bringing Jesus to the internet. Like, I just think it's so beautiful that God can give you such a creative mind, and you encounter God some ways, and he just shows you. Like, when I encounter God, I literally God shows me something, and it's like a movie, right? Because as a creator, like, we like to create. So he shows me it as a movie, and he's like, okay, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you that. Boom. I see it and I want to create it, you know? And I just think it's so beautiful. There was this one video, like Encounters with God. Like, that was a video where I was writing in my journal and praying, and then boom, God showed me that video, and I immediately started filming it. And then that was a great video that happened. So I think creatives are so cool. Honestly, I feel like now people are like, oh, we're creative, we're hype, we're cool. And yes, like, they're hype, they're cool, they're awesome. But I also feel that creators, I don't know, we're meant to create. We're all meant to create something with our life. And I feel like that's what we're always looking for, like our purpose, our calling, this and this. And I don't mean to make this as like, oh, we're, you know, purpose and whatever. But I do feel that we are created here for a purpose, and that God has us here. And honestly, yeah. So I hope my creative journey was a blessing to you guys, as it was to me to go through it. That's basically my life. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments. I love you guys. It's getting super dark here, and this is always what happens in sunset, but it is what it is. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting me on my channel, on Finding Yourself podcast. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to rate this 5 stars. If you guys are watching this video online, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe. Follow me on all social media. It'll be linked down below. And also share this video with a creative that you feel needs this like creative push, you know, that creative juice to move forward. So if you're watching this, this is your sign to create a YouTube channel. This is your sign to create a podcast. This is your sign to create that business, to grow, to move, and to do that, because you are a child of God, and you are amazing, and you're purposeful, and God's got you. So I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for this channel. So grateful to be on here for so many years. And yeah, so I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. God bless you.